Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and I am from Lahore, Pakistan, and I teach IELTS here. I welcome you once again, and this is going to be IELTS listening video, and in this video I'm going to solve IELTS listening section 1, and the type of questions we are going to come across, they are multiple choice. Now I dedicate this video to all of my students who have requested me to make videos on multiple choice, and multiple choice is very common in IELTS listening nowadays. All the tests they are conducting in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, UAE, Saudi Arabia, their multiple choice is very popular. That's why you need to pay special attention to multiple choice. Along with that, we will also solve a sentence completion question in section 1. So let's go to the book test, and we are going to read all the questions, and I'm going to give you some tips, and then I'll play the audio and we will solve the test. Let's start. Okay, now let's take a start with section 4, questions 31 to 40. Choose the correct letter A, B, C. So you got to choose the correct letter. The purpose of the data collection was data collection, and there are 4 things. Test people's reaction. The clue word is reaction. Collect detailed information. Assess the beauty of different public buildings. Assess. Right? So you got to just keep these 3 things in mind. The initial plan to use a questionnaire was abandoned. Initial plan, use questionnaire, abandoned. Why? Because means reason. It would take too much time. The questionnaire were too difficult to write. Too difficult, too much time, or too difficult. Actually, we are talking about questionnaire. It would take too long for people to complete. Too long. Too much time, too difficult, too long for people to complete. People indicated their reactions on a scale, on a 1 to 5 scale. People indicated reaction. Giving rise to some interesting answers. Ensuring that the information was easier to collect. Information easier collect, making it quicker to choose the top 3 images. Next, to make sure people could see the detail in the images better. Only daylight images. Now daylight images were used, black and white images. And the images were produced in color. So these 3 things you got to see. Okay, next question number 35. What was done to preserve the images? Now you got to see what did they do to preserve the images when being used. So that's okay. Preserve the images, what was done? They were covered in plastic. Now covered in plastic, that's the key word. These are some extra words, okay? People were asked to wear gloves, or even just gloves when touching them. The images were handled only by the researcher. Okay, so you just got to see out of these 3 what is the right option. Among the people who formed part of the sample were. Now who were the people who made the sample, who formed the sample? Tourists from various places, office workers. Now just clue word is tourists, office workers, commuters. You don't need to read the next details because it's all understood, office workers and all that. 37. What was the reason for appointing a leader for the group? Reason for appointing a leader. You got to keep this in mind. A, to comply with the instructions for the task. That's the clue word. B, to help. Now these are the verbs. B, to help hold the team together. C, to allocate tasks to the various members. Okay, so these are the 3 things. And then we've got questions 38 to 40. Which findings match the age group of the image testing? Now which findings match the age group? You got to just match it with the age group of the image testing. Write the appropriate letter A to D next to the age group. This is the age group and this is the finding. Now findings: varied reaction, mainly scored 1, mostly scored 3, mainly scored 5, and then accordingly you will write A, B, C or D. And the age groups are 11 to 18, 20 to 24, 20 to 40 and 50 years and above. Right? Now let's play the audio and we do this. But you got to do this all in 30 seconds time.
Section 4. You will hear a talk on the effect of architecture on people's mood. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. My group has been doing a project on the importance of architecture in people's lives and whether it has any impact on the lives of people in general. The main part I have played is in the collection of data to find out what effect, if any, various buildings have on people's mood, i.e. whether ugly buildings make people unhappy and whether beautiful buildings do the opposite. We had originally thought of starting measuring people's reactions by using a questionnaire with about 40 questions, which we were going to hand out to people, including students at the university. But we were worried that doing the questionnaire would be too time-consuming for people to fill in, so we gave up the idea. I then asked several of the postgraduate students for advice. One of them came up with the simple idea of showing people images of various buildings from different eras and styles, instead of giving out the questionnaire, and asking them to indicate how they felt on a scale of 1 to 5 about the images, where 1 was unhappy and 5 was very happy. People would also be given the option of not saying what they felt. Using the scale meant that it would be much simpler to record people's reactions. I decided to follow this advice, and so the first stage was to collect a large number of images. I used Google to print off color images of views of houses and apartment blocks where people live, and different types of buildings where they work. I started with about 30 or 40, and then reduced them to 10 images. Media resources in the Amory building at the Judd Street branch of the university helped me produce the final images. I had them blown up to A4 size, and we used color rather than black and white to make the detail on the images clearer. We made 5 sets of images, and for protection when handling, we pasted the images onto hard card. Then, using a machine to wrap them with plastic, we laminated the cards. 5 of us targeted different age groups. We went to a local school where we obtained permission to ask a group of teenagers between 11 and 18. We also asked a sample of the general public, including tourists from all over the world, as they exited the Tate Modern in London, what they thought. We aimed to ask people from different age groups, namely 20 to 40 and 50 and over. What our group learnt most from the project was first of all the value of teamwork. And secondly, we found that we had to appoint a leader to stop us pulling in different directions and falling apart. So this turned out to be an invaluable lesson for all of us. As to the findings, for us they proved intriguing. In the end, the sample consisted of 311 respondents. I thought initially that people wouldn't be interested in taking part. With the youngest age group, their reaction was very mixed. It was clear that the youngest group had no pattern of preference at all, as they frequently gave no reaction to the pictures. For the 20 to 40 age group, we found that they tended to score more in the middle range, around 3. We found that out of the 3 groups, the most likely to be favorably affected by the images, that is, they were more likely to score the images as 5, were those aged 50 and above. And nobody in this age group failed to say what their reaction was, which was unique for the 3 groups. In total, I have to say that about 71 people indicated that they had no reaction at all to an image. Our general conclusion is that we need to find out more about why people react as they do, by perhaps giving them a chance to give reasons for their decisions. I would like to finish there and give my teammates a chance to add anything I've missed or take any questions or suggestions. That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, not so difficult, huh? Yes, exactly. Listening section 1 is a piece of cake, and let me tell you, if you want to get 8 bands or higher, 8 or 8 plus, for that in section 1, 2 and 3, there should not be any mistake at all. If you want to get 8 bands, for that when you're doing practice tests, make sure in section 1 and section 2 you are getting full marks, 100%, and even in section 3 also you should get 100%, and then even if there are a couple of mistakes in section 4, still you can get 8 or 8 plus bands. So when you are practicing, you got to practice like that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS class, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Apart from this, I want you to join my channel, to subscribe this channel, Asad Yaqub, and there are 2 more channels that I run, Asad Yaqub Vlogs and Asad Yaqub Languages. Please subscribe those channels as well. Thank you very much indeed. Take good care of yourself. Asad Yaqub from Lahore, Pakistan wishes you all the best. Take care. Allah Hafiz.